Your etheric soul template. The etheric soul template. What is it and why and how can you access it and activate this in the mortal body? This is so exciting to me because this is like life-changing. I mean, there are people out there that have had near-death experiences that have gone up into the celestial realm, come back, and have been completely healed from crazy cancers and all kinds of diseases. And it's like, oh, it's a miracle. Well, they don't know what I'm about to share with you. And there are just some amazing teachers out there that talk about their experiences, like Anita Borjani. Anita went to the heavenly realm. She had tumors all within her body. She had tumors growing out of her skin. And she died. And I think she was dead for like an hour or 30 minutes. I don't remember exactly what the time was. But she died, came back into her body after being in the heavenly celestial realm. And then within a day, every tumor was gone from her body. And she talks about this interaction. But even she doesn't know, and she's been there and back. Of course, I have too. But remember, I had that fall, which kind of opened up the mouth of God, the ninth chakra. And so I've had this amazing ability to kind of see things beyond the veil. So this is kind of like one of those teachings that most people don't really understand. But this is something I'm going to share with you, my evolutionaries, because you are ready to understand this greater knowing of exactly what and how to do and what happens and transpires for complete and total healing. So let me talk about the etheric soul template. So what is it? Well, your soul is perfect. And within that perfection, it has to come into this game to play. And as a mortal, we become less than perfect. Believe it or not, we sometimes make a mistake or two. We kind of err in our ways. And some of those errors in our ways cause and create certain afflictions and causations within our physical body, which is specifically what I'm going to talk about now, because I'm talking about bioetheric healing. So this is a healing structure that you can use to heal really anything. And once you get the hang of it, you can and really understand it, you can never fear anything from man ever again, whether it's the V or a crazy virus or whatever it might, you have nothing to fear. It's those people that have given away their power, that don't understand the perfection of God, the God force that is within them, within you. Those are the ones that falter and fail. And really, once you understand this key, it's like this, as I've talked about, this infinite wellspring of God always coming through to you. And I am working on developing more access to this myself, because this is the key to immortality. This is the true fountain of youth. When you now have a great and solid connection with the genetic structure of your DNA now fully blossomed within you, both in the physical and the etheric, you've now created this godly elixir, if you will, that is permeating and fueling this solar sun within you. So let me talk a little bit about the etheric soul template. Again, this is perfection. So the etheric soul template exists within the celestial realm of heaven. And this soul template now has given birth to you, mortal man. So as we begin and learn how to access the etheric soul template, which is perfection, we begin to have a celestial life transfer. So these are the energetic energies of God. And I've got this drawn up and down, but let me just say this. Within the celestial realm, there is no up and down. There is no up for heaven. It is where we are in what we create. So all of this is happening with the dynamic of the God force within us and this projection of the game that we have stepped into. So that may be a little much for some people, but I know you evolutionaries, you guys get it. And this is like so exciting. So as we look at the celestial life force transfer of the perfection of the soul coming back, we restore the soul's template within the mortal body. So again, we have a complete restoration of God back within us. So we have now effervescently reconstructed this soul, this solar structure, this solar sun, this solar illumination within our body. So what does that mean? Well, it means that any disease is now cured, because there cannot be disease when there is perfection. There's a number of things this does. Let's just say you lost a limb. Because the soul template is perfection, it's going to restore you back to perfection. So your limb will godly reappear on your body. So again, there is nothing beyond the scope or the power that lies within you. And I've told and shared this with you, that there is nothing that can stop you while other forces are trying to get in your way. There is nothing that can stop your evolutionary process. And so evolution, remember, is creation. Ascension without evolution is nothing. So you and I, focusing on the evolutionary construct of becoming more, becoming better, becoming more godly, igniting that God force, that spark within us. This is what empowers us. So exactly how does this happen? Well, as we look at this, we look at, let's say, the celestial etheric realm and the mortal 3D realm. Now, one of the things I talked about in an earlier episode was the agreement between the soul and the mortal physical vessel that the soul has permeated in. And of course, with time, we forget who we are, so that bond weakens, our agreement, if you will. Because I've talked about belief, or believing, which a lot of people in the spiritual personal development community talk about, but really belief is really weak. And then you have the knowings. People talk about the knowings. Well, the knowing is still a very mortal thing. Just like belief, it is a very mortal thing. So what percentage of God are you, and what percentage mortal are you? We're on this scale because the majority of people, including me at this moment, are still here on this scale down here. And I'm trying to go up and increase the ability of my God force, so that I've now broken through this celestial barrier, this veil, so that I am able to incorporate and gain agreement, attain the agreement between my soul and my mortal presence, so that now I have engaged in bringing and restoring the perfection of my soul into this body. So as you see here, as I expanded my God force here, this solar presence is almighty. It is all present. It is me and the mortal that has lost his way. And so here, this is exactly what my teachings are about, is expanding the God force. And once you do this, you open up the channel and the vessel for these two, the soul and the mortal vessel, for the soul to become and regain the communion and begin that process of being perfect and gaining perfection here on earth, gaining immortality, because once you have that perfection, nothing can harm you. There is nothing that can stand in your way. And not only in the physical, but also in the wisdom that the soul has and will share with you. Once we gain these greater, this connection, the floodgates are open. And that to me is crazy exciting. As we talk about becoming less mortal and more godly, or increasing the godliness within us, the creator, the ultimate spark, the force of this amazing, loving, just beingness that we are becoming. And so what I'm doing here is giving you a little hint, if you will, to activate and pull down and have communion with the purity, the perfection of your soul. And this is really brilliant because, again, as you expand under God's law, the law of blossoming, through the natural law of phi, which is the ever-expanding geometry of God, as you expand, you again are being the causation here in the mortal realm to, again, penetrate the veil and have that activation. So how do we do this? Well, again, I'm creating an awareness. So this can take on many forms. I do this in meditation, or if I'm on a walk and walking around the neighborhood, or many things. I draw pictures just like this. I've drawn lots of pictures because for me, that's the way I process. That's actually the way that I get many of these teachings that I share with you that are uncommon teachings, because I can guarantee you nobody has taught this. Even the people at Hay House in different places, these big spiritual publishers, they've never shown this before. And this is reserved for you. Well, it's reserved for everyone because, so you guys are the torchbearers for this. You guys can help incite and help others recognize that they have the power to tap into the perfection of their soul. And that's just really amazing to me that all of you evolutionaries out there are so committed to the task of activating the spark of God within you and carrying that presence of love out and touching all those around you and beyond, in creating this blissful garden where all of us just live in harmony. And again, even in harmony or even in a garden, the wind's going to blow. But as we increase the God force within us, that wind, like a candle in the wind, we learn how to stand strong. Because again, the force of God within you is uncorruptible. You are amazingly whole. And it's just a matter of us recognizing that wholeness. I did a video on the harmonic evolution model where I talked about the law of atonement, the law of attuning, and the law of blossoming and how all that tied together. So what I'm talking about here is the atonement, the wholeness of where we are now, and the attuning to something greater, and then the blossoming of this. And then, of course, all that does is that strengthens the vine, if you will, the stem of the blossom, which makes us divine. And the divine, from what my guides have told me, is a metaphor for our DNA, because as we strengthen this resonance of not only the physical DNA that are within us, and what's interesting about DNA, if you ever study DNA, it's got like these little things off of them, like little blossoms. That's what we're doing. We're inciting these blossoms within our DNA to strengthen the corridor, the path of our etheric soul template, our soul, to access and give us the gateway, if you will, the access to all perfection, so that we can, again, create heaven on earth. So let me know if you have any questions. But this is a powerful healing technique. Again, once you've accessed perfection, you've transferred the celestial life force. This is something that anyone can do with the right mindset. Being holy, and I'm not talking like H, I'm talking about the W, like whole, being whole and functioning with God, and having this agreement, because now that you are whole, you can gain greater agreement with the God force, activating this presence of the perfection of the soul within you. With that, I love you. Please leave me comments. I am Joe Heller, and I will see you in the next episode.